In the second part of this course, you got familiar with the first nonlinear element, which was a diode. You learned how to model a diode with linear elements to solve complex diode circuits by using circuit analysis techniques such as mesh or nodal methods. So we first made a large signal or DC model of the diode. Then based on the DC model, we calculated DC operating point of the diode. We then used those operating point values to construct a small signal or AC model and finally performed AC analysis. As an example in this circuit, to find the voltage across the diode, we first made the AC source 0 and performed DC analysis by substituting the diode with its large signal model. Then we found the operating point current of the diode. After that, we used the operating point current to find the dynamic AC resistance of the diode and finally performed AC analysis by making the DC source 0 and replacing the diode with its dynamic resistance. We are going to do the same thing for BJT transistors. So we first need to create large signal and small signal models of the BJT. In this chapter, you'll learn large signal modeling and DC analysis. To perform DC analysis, we need to construct a large signal or DC model of the BJT. Let's create a model for an NPN transistor. We know that there is a PN junction between base and emitter. So in our model, we draw a PN junction diode between base and emitter. When the transistor is working in the forward active region, electrons flow from emitter to collector. So in our model, between collector and base, we can replace a current source. And by convention, the direction of this current source is in the opposite direction of electrons' movement. Here I placed a dependent current source because, as mentioned in previous videos, the value of collector current in the active region depends on the base emitter voltage or the current of the base emitter diode. In a BJT transistor, we have 4 operating regions. Also, there is a breakdown region which is not an operating region. The breakdown region should always be avoided in transistor circuits. As you already know, the BJT transistor is not a symmetrical device, so we cannot change the emitter and collector terminals. However, imagine we have changed the emitter and collector terminals, or in other words, we have reverse biased the base emitter junction and forward biased the collector base junction to see the BJT's behavior in the inverse active region. In this region, the current gain of the transistor reduces incredibly. That's why we don't use inverse active region for amplification purposes. In the reverse active region, the model of the transistor is reversed. So we have a diode between collector and base and a dependent current source between emitter and base. To distinguish the current gain in the forward active region from the current gain in the inverse active region, we use subscript F for forward active region and subscript R for the inverse active region. In this model, the current IF is the emitter current you saw in previous videos, and the current IR is the current of the collector-based diode. To make a difference between forward and reverse currents, we have used IF and IR. This model is called Ebers-Moll model that can be used for BJT modeling in forward active, saturation, cutoff, and reverse active modes of operation. For a PNP transistor, the current directions and voltage polarities are reversed. Now, based on the Ebers-Moll model, we can write current equations of the emitter, collector, and base terminals. These are the current equations you saw before, with the reverse currents of the base collector junction also included. In the models you see on the screen, when the transistor is working in the forward active region, the emitter diode is on and the collector diode is off. When the transistor is operating in the inverse active region, the emitter diode is off and the collector diode is on. In saturation mode, both of the diodes are on. And finally, in the cutoff region, both of the diodes are off. In this course, we only use transistors in the forward active, saturation, and cutoff regions. So in any of these regions, we can simplify and approximate Ebers-Moll model for that specific region. That's why in future videos, you won't need to deal with the complete model.